Paranormal story in Cheng High School. Hi. I'm an ex-student from Cheng High School. During my secondary 1 days, I was curious about that school as I had heard lots of stories behind each block of building. They say the old auditorium, currently called the admin block, had the scariest and most horrifying stories. Some teachers, who had been teaching there for more than 10 years, told me that at the backstage of the old auditorium, there is a very old and dusty piano which the school does not dare to throw away. They told us the reason is that it was left down by Mr. Chung, founder of the school, and would want to leave it behind for remembrance. However, this is not true. The teachers told me that the school was just covering up for the haunted piano with stories as it scared that parents would be scared to let their child enroll in it. And I had seen and fingered the piano itself. It was really old and filthy. And there will always be a chair in front of it. A group of my friends went to explore the area. That time I was sleeping during recess, and one of the girls seemed to be possessed by a girl in a red dress, the pianist, that was haunting the piano, and she ran and shouted hysterically at the backstage. The backstage was huge and there were a lot of filthy and vacant rooms linking to each other, like a maze. She ran in one of the rooms and was lost in her screeching voice. The rest of her friends went to look for her, and found her easily sitting behind a door of the 3RD room. She was staring blankly and her eyes were red. One of them told me that she suddenly stood up and pointed behind her back, and said, "She was behind you." And nobody was behind her, as she was the last person. After that, she ran out of the backstage, as if she knew the place very well, and fainted at the steps at the main stage. However, luckily enough, she woke up when recess was over, and she seemed to have been asleep, not knowing what had happened just now. After this incident, she had a high fever for 2 weeks, 2 terrible weeks. When we went to visit her in her house, she was screaming on top of her voice with bloodshot eyes. Her mother was told to tie her up on her bed as she would anyhow throw things. Her mother was grieving very sadly as though moaning for her. But during the 2ND week, she looked better and the ropes on her hand and legs were released. When we went to visit her again, she could not talk as she had lost her voice, probably due to the shouting and screaming. But, heard from her mother, she suddenly slept for 3 full days and woke up the next morning in a great mood and looked refreshed. And she got her voice back too. Well. We were indeed very happy for her, and when she was back in school, she could not remember anything about the incident and the time when she was bedridden. She told us it was like a long sleep, like being revived from death.